Well, hello everyone. Thank you for reading It's All About You for November 2019. The end of the year is fast approaching and the new year is about to begin, so let's talk cannabis. This summer, Governor J.B. Pritzker signed the Cannabis Regulation and Tax Act into law. The state of Illinois became the 11th state in the country to legalize adult use cannabis, and the law takes effect January 1st, 2020. Now, the city of Urbana, along with other cities and county governments, are adopting local policies and procedures to reflect the new law. And naturally, when you have state legislation like this that introduces a sweeping change in policy, there are many questions and concerns. So I'd like to address some of those questions today and tell you what the city is doing to help implement the new law at the local level. First, I'd like to focus on some of the basic provisions of the new law. And I want to tell you that useful resources on this topic can be found at the Illinois Municipal League site. First of all, some basic provisions. It focuses on consumption and possession. All adults 21 and older may possess and consume cannabis in quantities specified by the new law, and there are very specific guidelines in the law. The regulations in the law establish regulations for cultivation, processing, distribution, and use of cannabis. And the law allows for local governments to tax and place zoning controls over the location and operation of cannabis businesses. The law also authorizes state and local governing entities to tax cannabis businesses. And what makes Illinois' law stand apart from others is the social equity and social justice component. This legislation is groundbreaking in that it recognizes the disproportionate impact of past drug enforcement policy on minority populations, and it provides for automatic expungement for specified arrest records, creates a program for community reinvestment, and provides funding for mental health and substance abuse services. So sometimes I get questions on what types of cannabis businesses will be allowed in Illinois. First of all, I want to emphasize these businesses will be closely regulated by the Illinois Department of Agriculture, Department of Financial and Professional Regulation, Department of Public Health, local health inspectors, and/or possibly the Illinois State Police. You can be a craft grower. These are small-scale indoor growing facilities up to 14,000 square feet. There can be cultivation centers. These are large-scale indoor growing facilities up to 210,000 square feet. There can be dispensing organizations. These are facilities that are licensed to sell cannabis, cannabis-infused products, cannabis seeds, or paraphernalia to purchasers, to adult purchasers, or to registered medical cannabis patients and caregivers. And again, all of these types of businesses are closely regulated and licensed by the state. You can have a business for infusing. These are facilities licensed to incorporate cannabis or cannabis concentrate into a product such as oils, tinctures, beverages, and food. You can be a cannabis processor. These are facilities licensed to extract chemicals or compounds to produce cannabis, concentrate, or products. And finally, you can be in the transportation business. Transporters will transport cannabis for delivery to other cannabis businesses. So those are the 6 basic types of businesses allowed under the new law. What's happening in Urbana? NewMed currently operates a medical cannabis dispensary at the corner of University Avenue and Vine Street. NewMed will continue to sell cannabis to registered medical patients, and they've applied for a license to sell cannabis for adult use at the same location. Secondly, the Urbana City Council recently approved a 3% local retail sales tax on the sale of adult use cannabis. This is expected to generate about $275,000 to $550,000 per year for the general operating fund. The Urbana City Council also recently approved changes to the zoning ordinance, which regulates the location of new cannabis businesses that I just mentioned. Future topics to be considered by the City Council will include on-premise consumption of cannabis outside the private residences, in cannabis cafes and lounges. This is sometimes referred to as social consumption. But again, I want to urge you to keep in mind that it's going to take years to fully implement the cannabis legislation. And a number of issues will need to be clarified by the Illinois General Assembly this fall and going forward in what are called trailer bills. So this is going to be an ongoing process for the next few years. Again, I encourage you to refer to the Illinois Municipal League's website and the frequently asked questions there. And remember, if you're under the age of 21, possession and use of cannabis is illegal in the state of Illinois now, and it will continue to be illegal after January 1st, 2020. But we at the City of Urbana are working hard to adopt our policies and practices to assist in the smooth implementation of this new law. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next month.